Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're connecting from. You're welcome to today's live stream. I want to believe you can hear me loud and clear. Please drop a comment if you can hear me loud and clear. Drop a comment if you can hear me loud and clear. How has been trading this week? Today is on Tuesday. I was trading yesterday. Confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Confirm you can see my screen. If you have any question, any pair you want me to analyze, please drop it in the comment section. If you have any question or any pair you would want me to analyze in today's session, I'd like to know in the comment section. What pair are you trading today? I'd like to know in the comment section. What pair are you trading today and what's your bias on that pair? I want you to drop it in the comment section. What pair are you trading today and what's your bias on that pair? Give the video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. GU, GJ. So what's your bias on GU, Ebuka? What's your bias on GU? What's your bias on GJ? What's your bias on GU? What's your bias on GJ? I'd like to know what your bias is on those pairs. And before you take a trade on GU, have you analyzed DXY? If you have analyzed DXY, what's your bias on DXY? GU bullish. What's your bias on DXY? I'd like to know what's your bias on DXY for you to be looking for buy opportunity on GU. What's your bias on DXY? But I'm what's your bias on USDHF? But I'm what's your bias for the dollar first before we even talk about USDCHF? What's your bias for DXY for dollar index? It's very important that you analyze dollar index before trading USD first. What's your bias on dollar index? Mr. Badamosi, what's your bias? Okay, so GU is bearish. Ebuka, you are bullish on GU. I'd like to know your bearish setup on GU, your bearish bias on GU. Is it long term or short term, Mr. Badamosi? Is it long term or short term? Your bias for GU, bearish. Is it long term or short term? Okay, so let's start. We'll start by looking at the fundamentals for today. Today is Tuesday, 29th of July, and by 3 p.m., United States will be releasing its job openings on data by 3 p.m. Okay, so if you're trading dollar pairs, you should also watch out for this news. Okay, watch out for this news. It's an high impact news. So, and this news will be released by 3 p.m. Like I've always advised, if you're executing a trade before a major news, you shouldn't take much risk. Okay, you shouldn't take much risk. Don't go all in, no matter how good the setup looks like. I personally would rate maybe like today, if I'm going to take a trade on dollar pairs like GBP before the major news, I only risk maybe 30% of my daily drawdown, my daily maximum drawdown. That's what I'm going to risk. So if my risk is $50 on a daily basis, I'm going to risk 30% of that $15. That's what I'm going to risk. That's a good opportunity to re-enter when which is the front rate to p.m. Most times when the major news, especially is being expected, most times trend, the market goes into a range. Market goes into a range. So just know what you're doing. Be very conservative. This is not the time for you to be aggressive. Okay, then tomorrow, Wednesday, maybe after tomorrow, after FOMC, we'll definitely get a clear direction for the dollar after FOMC. MC. So please, whatever risk you're taking, please be conservative, be comfortable with whatever risk you're taking in the market between today and tomorrow. Okay, because high volatility is expected. So let's go to the chart. Let's start by looking at dollar index. Okay, so let's start by looking at dollar index. So dollar index has been bullish since the market opened. I was expecting dollar index to sell yesterday. Okay, though my bias long term is bullish for the dollar, but I would have loved to. I was expecting it to sell yesterday, but it didn't sell. It bought all through yesterday. It was strongly bullish, as you can see, strongly bullish. Now, price has swept the liquidity residing at this previous high. Okay, it has swept the liquidity residing at this previous high. And I think if we go back at this point, I think there's a fair value gap here. Let's just see that. Let's confirm. Okay, let's see. Let's go back. So you can see we have this fair value gap here. So that could also be the reason for the retracement. You can see this fair value gap. And you see that fair value gap. That could also be the reason for the retracement. At this point, price tested that fair value gap. Okay, you didn't fill it entirely. So you can see again, it has tested this fair value gap, though it has not filled it entirely. Price might want to fill this fair value gap before going on bearish. But as you can see, at this point, it tested it. This high became an area of liquidity. A lot of stop losses residing at this high. And what they've done so far this week is to sweep the liquidity residing at this previous high. You can see. And what do we have on 4 hour now? We have what looks like a shooting star. We have what looks like a shooting star. So I personally today will be looking for sell on the dollar. I'll be looking for sell on the dollar. It has swept liquidity, so it's likely going to pull back to fill. That's created fair value gaps. Okay, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So you can see these fair value gaps. I'd love to see it pull back to fill this fair value gap before going bullish on the dollar. Okay, that's my take on the dollar. If we go by the weekly pattern, okay, so that's my take on the dollar. I want to see it retrace. Okay, it will not be wise to buy dollar from the current market price, because if we work with this previous range on 4 hour, you can see that price is at a premium area. It has a premium. It's at a premium area, so it will not be wise to buy at premium. There has to be a little retracement before going for buys on the dollar. That's what I see on the dollar. There has to be a little retracement. There has to be a retracement to a discount area. This is the current, this is the recent dealing range. This is the dealing range. So if you apply your Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high, you want to wait for price to pull back to at least equilibrium before you buy. You cannot buy from this point because this won't be a good investment, right? If you didn't buy, this is where you would have entered. This is the initial entry for DXY. If you didn't buy from this point, you had a retracement here. You could have taken advantage of this move. If you had missed this first, second, and third move, why would you want to buy from this point? Why would you want to buy from this point? So for me, I would love to see dollar index retrace into a discount area before going bullish on the dollar. So my take on dollar today is bearish. That's my take. Technically, it should sell. Technically, it should sell. So we had a shooting star here. If you go down to 1 hour, you would identify, you can see what we have here. This is a bearish reversal pattern. This is a bearish reversal pattern. This is a swing high, bearish reversal pattern. Then I go down to 15 minutes. So this is a sell setup. You can see on 15 minutes, you can see the patterns we have here on 15 minutes. This are bearish reversal pattern. We had an angry man, bullish angry man. We had a bearish angry man, then followed is a shooting star. So these are bearish reversal pattern. So at the moment, the dollar is bearish. Okay, but as you can see on 15 minutes also, it has created a fair value gap. Can you see this? It has created a fair value gap, and there's a high probability price will want to pull back to fill this fair value gap before it continues with its bearish move. That's my take on the dollar. So dollar at the moment is bearish, but price might pull back to fill this fair value gap before it continue with its bearish move. Is that clear? So that's my take on the dollar. I'm bearish on the dollar today, technically. Okay, so let's go to the chart and see currencies. How is it now? I hope the sound is okay now. I hope the sound is okay now. Ebuka, please confirm the sound is okay. If it's cracking, that's due to network. Victory, good morning. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't done that. If you have any question on DXY, if you have any contrary view on DXY, please let me know. If you have contrary view on DXY, let me know. Okay, let me know if you have a contrary view on DXY. Okay, let's just see the weekly. Like I said, long term is bullish. You can see long term is bullish on the dollar. Long term, it is bullish. Long term, dollar is bullish. It is bullish. Okay, but short term, it is bearish. That's my take on the dollar. Okay, so that's my take on GU. So sorry, on dollar index, let's see GU. Let's start with GU. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the weekly. This is a bearish setup on the weekly time frame. This is a bearish setup. Now, what can you see on the weekly time frame? We had this fair value gap on the weekly time frame. Price. The pullback could just be to come fill this fair value gap. You can see this fair value gap has been filled on the weekly time frame. The market is currently trading below that fair value gap, and that could be because there's a fair value gap below this weekly fair value gap. Let's confirm on daily. That could be the reason price traded below the weekly fair value gap. So if you come to this is daily. So we have this here. Okay. Now let's go down to 4 hour at this point. Okay. So on 4 hour, so you can see on 4 hour, you can see we have this fair value gap on 4 hours. So that could be the reason price broke out from the fair value gap on the weekly time frame. So let's go back to daily. So you can see that the fair value gap, fair value gap, and if you apply from to this swing guy, this should be like 50% retracement, 50% retracement, and also what happened here, the residing at this previous low was swept. Okay, so if today's candle is bullish, we should expect price on GBP USD. GBP USD might come to fill this gap that's created on the daily time frame. This will be to consider selling GBP USD. You cannot sell price. That would be the best entry after for sell. That would have been the correct market price. You want to wait for to trade back to has been cleared. You want to wait for price to pull back to internal range. Because that's how price moves. Price moves from external to internal, internal to external. So you wait for price to go back. It has swept external range liquidity. External liquidity at previous low or previous highs. It has swept liquidity to at this external range liquidity. Then you wait for price to pull back to fill the internal range liquidity. Example of an internal range liquidity is the fair value gaps liquidity void. Those are examples of internal range liquidity. Okay, that's it for. So let's go down to 4 hours. Let's see if we can. On on GBP USD. You could look for buys on GBP USD. Can you guys hear me? 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. At some point, the network went off. Okay, so that's my take on the dollar. So on GBP USD, we have an AMA. Wait for the next candle to close. If you don't want to wait for the next candle to close, let's see the pattern we have on 1 hour time frame. If you don't want to wait for the next candle to close bearish, what you need to do, close bullish, what you need to do is go down to 1 hour. If you're able to identify a bullish reversal pattern on 1 hour, and probably you go down to 15 minutes time frame to ensure that there's a shift in market structure, okay, before you take the trade. So this is what we had on 1 hour. We have a bullish reversal pattern. Then let's see 15 minutes if we can identify a shift in market structure on 15 minutes time frame. Okay, no structure shift here. Let's see 5 minutes. Let's see 5 minutes. There should be a shift in market structure on 5 minutes. No shift in market structure on okay. Let's go to 1 minute. Okay, so on 1 minute you can see here, okay, shift in market structure has occurred here on 1 minute time frame. You can see the first thing they did was to sweep liquidity residing at this previous low. At this point, they swept liquidity, and you can see shift in market structure occurred at this point. You can even identify this also as a shift in market structure on a 1 minute time frame. This the swept liquidity reside at this previous low, then push price up, swept liquid. So would also say shift to market structure occurred at this high. Okay, so GU is bullish at the moment as far as I'm concerned. But look at GU, you can see it has created a fair value gap here. So price might want to pull back to fill this fair value gap. This would be a very good area of interest. Okay, this fair value gap would be a very good area of interest. So what I do in this case, I don't wait for price to come to the area of interest. Okay, I will go in because price coming back, pulling back to this area of interest is probability is not guaranteed. So what do? I calculate the risk. From this point, this is where my stop loss will be. Or I'll set my stop loss few pips below this level, let's say 40 pips. I'll use 40 pips as my stop loss. Okay. Then I'll go in with maybe just 30% of my maximum daily drawdown. 30%. That's what I would risk on this first trade. And if price pulls back to my point of interest, then I'll go in with the remaining 70%. So if my risk for the day is $50, I will take 30%, that's $15 risk. And that $15 is what will determine the lot size I would apply on this trade. And after price pulls back to this zone, I have $35 left to risk on this trade. And that is what will also determine the lot size I would use on the second trade. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. If you're joining the class for the first time, please do subscribe to the channel so that anytime I come on live, you get notified by YouTube. And if you're new to trading, is the first time you're getting to know about Forex trading, you join the class, I would advise you get my trading course for beginners, Ultimate Guide to Forex Trading. It's just cost $2 today. $2 today. Okay. If you haven't gotten that course, get it today. By tomorrow, the price will be increased. I'm going to take the price up to 5,000 naira. So if you have not gotten it, you have the opportunity to get it today for just 3,000 naira. After today, you have to pay 5,000 naira. And maybe at the end of this week or at the end of this month, I'm going to increase the price to 10,000 naira. For those of you who are still contemplating on getting the course, get it today. Get it today. I've given you enough time to get the course. I've given you enough time to get it for that price. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. You're not just buying a course, you're going to have access to live on Zoom session with me. I had a session with those who bought last week. I had a session with them was it on Sunday? We had a session. So you're not just paying for a course. I'm not a course seller. I'm a trader. This is what I do for a living. So you're not just paying for a course. You're going to have access to live sessions with me. All your questions will be attended to. Okay. So that's the difference between what you watch on YouTube, the content you watch on YouTube, and what you get from me. I'm available to attend to all your trading questions. And there's so much you're going to learn when you attend the live session. Okay. So let's look at Euro USD. Gold. Okay, we'll look at gold in a few minutes. Good morning, sir. Tesco. Okay, so let's go to the next pair, Euro USD. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please drop it in the comment section. Euro USD. Let's start with the daily time frame. Okay, so same pattern on the pattern we have here is similar to what we have on GBP USD. You can see liquidity residing at this previous low has been swept, and also on the daily we had this fair value gap. You can see. Can you see this fair value gap? Okay, you can see this fair value gap. That fair value gap just got filled, as you can see. Fair value gap just got filled, and there's a high probability if you go down to 4 hour. So you can see we also had an AMA here. So there's a high probability Euro USD is coming to fill these fair value gaps. Okay. Euro USD is likely going to come fill this fair value gap. Okay, like I said, the dollar is still bullish long term. So if you are considering selling Euro USD, you should wait for price to pull back. This is where I will be considering selling Euro USD. Okay. So the previous candle closed as an AMA. Let's see what we have on 1 hour. Can we identify a bullish reversal pattern also on 1 hour time frame? I've analyzed GBP USD. Maybe you might have to watch the replay. We started with GBP USD. Started the session with GBP USD. Okay, so this is Euro USD. Let's go down to 15 minutes. Let's see what we have on 15 minutes. So this is a bullish reversal pattern as far as I'm concerned. You can see what we had here. This is an inverted hammer, a bearish inverted hammer. Next candle close as a bullish inverted hammer. This indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish, and you can see Euro USD has been bullish after the formation of this candlestick pattern. Euro USD has been bullish and it's still bullish as far as I'm concerned, but it has created a fair value gap here, and price might want to come and test this fair value gap. Pulls back to this zone and I see my good setup, then I can go in again with the remaining balance. I hope that is clear. So that's my take on Euro USD. Bullish. Euro USD is coming to fill these fair value gaps. That is what I see playing out on Euro USD and GBP USD. I hope that is clear. 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 If you want to get a course, you can find the link in the description section. Okay, you can find the link in the description section. Okay, click on description, you find the link to access the course. Okay, let's look at, someone said gold. Okay, let's look at GJ. Someone requested for GJ. GJ is bullish. GJ is bullish. I am bullish on GJ. I actually took a buy trade on GJ before starting this class. That's why I started a few minutes late. I started a few minutes late. That's because I needed to take the trade on GJ. I'm currently buying GJ. I'm buying GJ at the moment. I'm buying GJ at the moment. The only thing I've not done is set my stop loss. I've not done that. I just executed the trade. So let's start with but I know where to set my stop loss. My stop loss will be 40 pips from my entry. So daily, you can see GG has been ranging for some time, but what can you see on the daily time frame? You can see this support. This was a resistance, which became a support. You can also see we have this fair value gap. There are a lot of confluences here. You can see we have this fair value gap. We also had this level as a resistance, which became a support. Price has tested that area several times, you can see. And every time price gets into that zone, there's always a strong rejection from that zone. That's to tell you that the bearish momentum is weak. The bearish momentum is weak. Okay, so what do we have now? There's a high probability price would go up from that. So you can see on 4 hour. You can see on 4 hour. I didn't take the trade on GBP USD. So though I saw the opportunity on GBP USD and Euro USD, I decided to trade GJ because there is no major news for Great Britain pounds and yen today. Okay, there's no major news. That's why I avoided GBP USD and Euro USD. I might consider trading the dollar pairs after the major news is released by 3 p.m. Okay, so I'm focusing on GJ at the moment. GJ. Okay, so you can see the previous candle is an hammer. This is an hammer. Also, it formed at a support level. For those of you who bought the course, I taught you how to identify resistance and support level. And I did say that if you want to trade candlestick pattern, don't just execute the trade after the formation of the candlestick. Don't just execute the trade after the close of the candlestick pattern. Go back and identify, ensure that that level was a support in the past or a resistance turn support in the past before you take the trade. The probability that setup will play out when it's at a support level, a resistance level is like 70%. But when you are just executing just because you see a candlestick pattern, you just execute the trade, the probability is just like 40 to 50%. It's like 40 to 50%. But when it forms, when that candlestick pattern forms at a support or a resistance level, it has a higher probability of playing out. Okay. So all these things I shared in the course and also in the class. So for those of you who are trading resistance and support, and you're also using candlestick pattern, note that, okay? Don't just execute after the formation of the candlestick. Ensure that that candlestick pattern forms at a previous support level or a previous resistance level before you take the trade. Okay, so this is what we have here. And that's the reason I took the trade. We have an hammer, and that hammer formed at a previous support level. This was a support. If you go back here, also we had this resistance turn support. So that's the reason for the buy trade on GJ. You can also see at this point, this was a resistance turn support. You can see here also we had a support level. You can see. So it's a key level. You can see also resistance turn support. It's a key level. That's the reason I took the trade. Now let's go down to 1 hour. Now I would have waited for price to pull back to a fair value gap it has created on 15 minutes time frame. I think I identified that fair value gap. So you can see on 15 minutes time frame, it's created. We have this fair value gap here. This fair value gap here. Can you see? Price came back, tested at this level, but I still believe they might want to push price down here to come and test this fair value gap again before it continues with its bullish move. So taking the trade while I'm also hoping that price will pull back to this zone. I went in with 30% of my daily drawdown. Okay, 30%. Then if price pulls back here, I will add more trades to the existing one. I hope that is clear. So that's my take on GJ. I'm currently buying GJ. I'm buying GJ and my stop loss is at this level. This is where I'm going to set my stop loss. After this class, I'm going to set my stop loss. Okay. Any question? Any question? Okay, let's look at gold. Gold. If there's any other pair you want me to analyze, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Let's look at gold. Gold. I think gold is buy at the moment. Okay. Let's start with the daily time frame. So you can see yesterday candle closed as a spinning top. Sorry, spinning bottom. Okay, this is a spinning bottom, or we can call this an inverted hammer. Okay, we can call this a spinning bottom, or let's say an inverted hammer. And the first thing they did yesterday was to sweep the liquidity residing at this previous low. Also at this area, we have a fair value gap. Let's go down to 4 hour. You will see there's a fair value gap here on 4 hour time frame. So this is 4 hour time frame. You can see we had a fair value gap here on 4 hour time frame. Can you see the fair value gap? So you can see we had a fair value gap here on a 4 hour time frame. price had attempted to test or to fill that fair value gap. First attempt, second attempt. Okay, so let's go. So you can see price came back to fill that fair value gap. You can see, and after filling that fair value gap, you can see the pattern we have here. This looks like an inverted hammer, though not a valid one. Let's go down to 1 hour time frame. Let's see the pattern we have on 1 hour time frame and 15 minutes time frame. So you can see on 1 hour, it's a valid inverted hammer. It's a valid inverted hammer on 1 hour time frame. And you can see at this point, it's created the resistance. Resistance was created, price broke out from that resistance, created another resistance at this point. Price broke out from that resistance, pulled back again, price broke out from the resistance. So you can see that should tell you that demand is higher than supply. That should tell you that demand is higher than supply. Okay, demand is higher than supply. So gold is bullish at the moment. Gold is bullish at the moment. It is bullish at the moment. Don't sell gold, look for buys. And I think first target on gold would be this previous high. That will be the first target. And above this previous high, we have this fair value gap. That will be the next target. Okay, this will be the next target for gold. This will be the next target for gold. So my bias for gold today is bullish. It's bullish. So here we have, I think, price just filled a fair value gap. Let's say 15 minutes. So okay, it has not filled it. You can see it created a fair value gap here. But as you can see, it broke out from this resistance, pulled back to test. I think it has tested. That's like a break and retest. For those who trade break and retest, you can see break out from the resistance, retest. So gold is bullish. Gold is bullish. Gold is bullish. EA, let's see EA, Euro Australian dollar. So let's start with the daily. So today, liquidity residing at this previous low has been swept. Okay, it has been swept. Let's see for hour. For hour also, we have what looks like a pin bar on 4 hour time frame. So if I'm to take any risk on EA, with what I'm seeing here, it will be a buy. Okay, be a buy. So you can see what we have here. This is an engulfing pattern on 1 hour time frame. Let's see 15 minutes. So this will be a buy. This is a buy setup. Shift in market structure has occurred here on 15 minutes time frame. This is a buy structure. This is a buy structure, but you can see we have this fair value gap here on 15 minutes time frame. Price might want to pull back to fill this fair value gap. Okay. So if you want to take the trade from the current market price, you have to reduce your lot size and wait for price to pull back to fill this fair value gap before you had more trades. Okay. So that's my take on EA. Okay, if I'm going to take any risk on EA, what I'm seeing on the chart, it will be a buy. It will be a buy. It will be a buy. I believe you all can see my screen. I believe you all can see my screen. Someone is saying the screen is dark. Can you all see my screen clearly? Can you see my screen clearly? Please, others confirm. Can you see my screen clearly? Mr. Rotesco says my screen is dark. Please confirm if you can see my screen clearly. Okay. Chimeze says everything is okay. Good morning, Chimeze. It's been a while. Thanks for joining. Okay. So which other pair do you want me to analyze? Okay, we've looked at gold, right? Which other pair do you want me to analyze? Which other pair do you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. I have close to 10 persons on this live stream and just 3 persons have given the video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up so that others can get to see this video. Which other pair do you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. USD JPY. USD JPY. Okay, so let's start with the daily time frame. Yesterday candle closed bullish, strongly bullish. So after the close of yesterday candle, what pattern do we have on 4 hour? So this was, I think this was a last candle. Yeah, this was the last candle for yesterday market. So we had a doji. Okay, we had a doji, and this morning they've swept the liquidity residing at the previous high. The liquidity has been swept. In the previous 4 hour, let's see. With this pattern here, I think UJ is still bullish with what I'm seeing here, this pattern here. Let me see 1 hour time frame. Let's see 1 hour time frame. Okay, this is 1 hour time frame. They also served liquidity residing at this previous high, this equal high, relative equal high, liquidity swept. Then what do we have here? We have a shooting star. Also, you can see we had a fair value gap here. Price came back, tested that fair value gap, strong rejection from that fair value gap. So if I would sell UJ, okay, I'd love to see price break this fair value gap. I would love to see price close below, a candle should close below this fair value gap. That is when I will consider selling USJPY. Okay, but like I said, I'm not trading dollar pairs until the major news is released. I'm not trading dollar pairs. Okay, so but if I'm to trade UJ, I would love to see price break this fair value gap. But if price breaks out from this resistance, then I'll go bullish on UJ. If I want to risk selling UJ, it will be below this zone. And if I want to buy, I want to see price break out from this resistance zone. This is where I will consider buying UJ. Okay, if price breaks out from this zone, I will buy. If price breaks out from this zone, I would sell. If I'm buying above this zone, my stop loss will be at this low. If I'm selling below this zone, my stop loss will be at this high. That's my take on UJ. That's my take on UJ. I don't think I have German 40 on MT4. I don't think I have German 40 on this platform. This is MT4. I don't think I have German 40 on MT4 index energy. German 40 and German 30, are they the same? Are they the same? German 30 and German 40. Mr. Rotesco, is German 30 and German 40 the same? Any question? Do you have any question? Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. Which other pair do you want me to analyze? Which other pair do you want me to analyze? Some of you still haven't given this video a thumbs up. You haven't liked this video. Why? Why? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? You have any other pair you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section. So it appears there are no more questions. It appears there are no more questions. I want to appreciate every one of you for your participation. Ebuka, Gbadamosi, Mr. Victory, The God's Will, Mr. Rutesco, Mr. Chimezie. Thank you very much for your participation. Our next class will be tomorrow, same time. Okay, so I look forward to having you in that class. Please, as you trade, ensure you execute your trading plan. Most importantly, your risk management plan. Don't go on tilt. Okay, don't go on tilt. Don't do revenge trading. Don't do that. Once you hit your maximum daily drawdown, close the platform. Close the platform. Look for something else to do with your time. Come tomorrow. Okay, there will always be opportunity to recover whatever loss you've made. So take it easy on your funds. Take it easy on your funds. Don't over leverage, please. So that'll be all. Thanks for your participation. Remember, the offer on my Mr. Rotesco, you analyzed last week and it was big profit. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, sir, if you took advantage of that analysis. So you said it's the same German 30 and German 40. Okay, let me analyze German German 30. Okay. 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 If you want to know how I use this my tool, this zigzag, you can see how price is respecting. You can see when it appeared above this candle, it sold. Appeared below this candle, it bought. Appeared above this candle, it sold. Appeared below this candle. If you want to know how to use this technical indicator, I recommend this tool for all beginners. I recommend this tool for all beginners. With this tool, you don't have to start stressing yourself, identifying resistance and support, candlestick pattern. You don't need all that. You can also use this to identify change of structure. Okay, so if you want to learn how to use this tool for beginners, I can analyze the market without using any indicator, but for beginners, we all started with indicators. That is why I teach this indicator. It's one of the best indicator out there. It's one of the best indicator and it is free. All you just have to do is learn how to use it. And I also taught that in my course. It's one of the contents. It's one of the videos. You learn how to use this zigzag tool. It's a very, very powerful tool if you know how to use it. If you know how to use it, it's a very, very good tool. So if you want to learn how to use it, get the course today for just 3,000 naira. By tomorrow, you have to pay 5,000 naira. By 11 p.m. today, I'm going to edit and change the price. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with the daily time frame. From what I see on 1 hour, it is buy. From what I see on 1 hour, it is buy. Also on the daily, I think this is a buy. You can see what we have here: support, resistance, turn support, support. You can see, so it's at a key level. So daily is buy. What I see here is buy. Let's see for our 4 hour also is buy, but this would have been a good entry for buy. After the formation of this candlestick, you can see the zigzag indicator confirmed that after the candlestick or the zigzag, after the formation of the candle, we had the zigzag below it. Okay, that's a buy. You can see if you go back, remember I said when a candlestick pattern forms, you go back to confirm if that level you can see support, support, support. That should tell you that there's a high probability for that setup to play out. When you go to one, you can see this is the candlestick pattern. This is a spinning bottom. This is a spinning bottom. You have your zigzag below that spinning bottom. Then you go back, confirm if that level was a previous support in the past. And we've confirmed that we have that level has been used as support 3 times in the past. You can see. So it has a high probability of playing out. And you can see after the formation of the spinning bottom, what happened? Price went up. Price went up, and price is likely going to come fill this fair value gap. This is where price is heading to. But for me, buying from the current market price, as far as I'm concerned, is risky. If you want to take a trade, patiently wait for price to pull back to this. We have this fair value gap here. Patiently wait. Don't buy and don't sell. If you want to buy, wait for price to patiently to pull back. Patiently wait for price to pull back to this fair value gap before you buy. Okay. German 40, German 30 is bullish, but wait for price to retrace to this fair value gap or this fair value gap. Don't buy now, don't sell. This is buy. Though it will retrace to these areas. So these are the areas you should consider buying. If price pulls back to this zone, your zigzag indicator appears below this zone. Wait for a bullish reversal pattern to form before you buy. If price breaks out from this zone, wait for price to pull back to this zone, and you can see this fair value gap is at a discount area. If you apply Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high, you can see that this is a discount area, and you buy from discount. If you buy from this point, this fair value gap identified here is at a premium area, not discount. So you want to wait for price to pull back to discount area so that your risk on the trade will be less and your profit will be at least 2 times your risk. Okay, so that's my take on. Don't sell, look for buys. Look for buys on German 30. So we started the session with GBP USD. We started the session with GBP USD. Okay, let me just revisit GBP USD. I said GBP USD is buy. My bias for GBP USD today is buy. Is buy. Okay. So you could either wait for price to pull back. It created a fair value gap here. Remember, a major news is expected will be released by 3 p.m. Nigerian time. United States will be releasing its job openings by 3 p.m. So GU might come to fill this fair value gap before it continues with its buy. So my bias for GU today is buy, or you could wait for price to pull back to fill this fair value gap before you buy. I hope that is clear. GU is buy, EU is buy, AU is buy, NZD, NU is buy, USD card sell, USDJPY. I'm neutral on USDJPY. Okay, like I said, if price breaks out from the resistance, I will buy. If price breaks out from the support, I'll look for buys. Okay, gold at the moment is bullish. GBP JPY bullish. Euro Aussie bullish. I think that'll be all for this session. Once again, I want to say big thanks to every one of you for your participation, and I wish you all a great day. Okay, if you want to get the course, you can send me a message or WhatsApp or just use the link in the description section. Thank you. Bye for now. Also, if you get the course, you would have access to free signal for 2 weeks. You have access to free signals for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you have access to free signal. That's a bonus for purchasing the course. You have access to 2 weeks free signal, and also you have access to the Zoom session. The Zoom session. So